Welcome back. I missed last night. Literally, forgot that I even had a YouTube channel last night. That's how tired I was. So I'm here. Yesterday was travel day. Yesterday I flew from Miami to Austin. I'm here today. I spent the whole day in a mastermind and whole evening with a bunch of amazing humans for this mastermind. So much has happened in the last 2 days that I'm sad that I did not record last night. Just life moves at the speed of light for me. And sometimes I have just these really wild things happen. So I'm just going to tell you about it because I think I'd like to have this recorded. I'd like to remember this. So 2 nights ago, I was walking down the stairs of, hold on, did I tell you this? I don't think I did. No, I don't think I told you this. I was walking down the stairs in the old hotel that I always stay in, which is the Leslie. So something about me is I'm very spontaneous and my life is very wild and crazy. And the way that I find grounding is I stay at the same hotels in every city. I eat at the same restaurants in every city. This is how I create normalcy in a wild life, right? So I've stayed at I think I've probably spent 40 nights at the Leslie. I've stayed there so many times in South Beach. And so I just feel really safe. It just feels like my home. So it's midnight and I really wanted some tea. And so I walked down the staircase to the basement. This is where their tea is. Which I'm is it safe to be walking downstairs in an old hotel at midnight? Probably not, right? But it felt safe, so I did. And I'm walking down these stairs and I have this out of body experience. It was timelines collapsed. That's all I can say. And all of a sudden I'm taken back to when I'm 18. So when I was 18, I moved to Chicago to be a professional dancer. And I lived in a 150-year-old building on Goethe and Dearborn in the Gold Coast of Chicago. And I would walk down these stairs to the basement because this is where our hangout room was in this dorm. And Chicago was one of the greatest times of my life. I was following my passion of being a dancer. I was independent. I was free. I would go to this yoga studio that overlooked the city. Lincoln Park was a 10-minute walk from my dorm, and I would walk to Lincoln Park every day. And in Lincoln Park, there's a zoo that's free. Yeah, a free zoo. And so, as I do, I named all of the monkeys and I would talk to them every day. It was just this magical life. And I worked at this cute little pizza place. And I remember walking down the street during fall, and it was the first time I'd ever seen fall because I was from Arizona. And one time I was walking and this wind just came and picked up all the leaves and they just spun around me this magical cyclone of wonder. And I just remember just crying and being what is this beauty? Chicago was the epitome of beauty and freedom and passion. And then I opted for a different life. It's when my boyfriend at the time came and proposed to me, and I opted into that life. And I will never regret it. Never. Because I had the most amazing 5 children on the whole planet. And so I'm grateful that I opted in for that life. But that 18-year-old, that free, passionate soul, I felt her come back. As I was walking down these old stairs, it was this deja vu moment. And this thing arose inside of me. And the next day, it was that 18-year-old was alive in me. And the sun was more beautiful than I've ever felt. And my lasagna tasted the most amazing thing I've ever had. And it was this collapse of time within a 25-year span. It's been 25 years since I was 18. And it felt as though the stars aligned for a portal to occur. And then I get into the plane, and I always work like super hard on planes. It's like my favorite ADHD office. But I just felt inspired to watch a movie. So I watched When Harry Meets Sally, which is the first time I've ever seen it. And usually when I watch love stories, like the ice on my heart just gets a little bit icier. And I watched it, and there was no ice on my heart. Instead, it was just like melted. And I could feel my heart melt open. And it was so magical. And it was so beautiful. And I left that plane just feeling very grateful. So that is a moment I want to remember. And then last night, as I was journaling about all of this, I remembered how my future self had shown up to me on a staircase 3 years ago. So now I've had my past self show up to me on a staircase, and my future self showed up to me on a staircase, which feels extremely symbolic and also beautiful. But if you don't know the story of my future self, I will tell it to you now because it is one of my favorite stories. And I do believe that I have now experienced all three: the past, the present, and the future. So it was right after my divorce, and I didn't quite have the stamina down of being a single mother. And I had driven for 4 hours to and from school. I had ran all these Zoom calls during the day. I had made dinner. I had put everyone to bed. And my arms were filled with all the dirty clothes that I gathered from the living room and the kitchen and the hallway. And I'm walking up the stairs. And it's like 10:30 at night. And I'm so tired. I literally like sway and hit the wall. And I just slide down the wall onto the middle of the steps. And I just start crying. I was just like screaming to God, like, why did you think I could do this? Why did you think I could do this? That I could be a single mom and really grow a publishing house and provide for them. And in that moment, I felt my future self appear. And I felt her grab me by my shoulders and look me directly in the eyes. And she said, "You will remember this day. You will remember the day that you were a single mother building a publishing house, because we did it." And I felt this knowing in my body that I did, and a knowing that I could do it. So here I am 3 years later with a luxury publishing house that is built, with a TV show that is about to hit the world, my 7th book that went live last week, so many amazing things. And I think, I'm so grateful my future self came back and told me to just keep going. And now it feels like my younger self came back to deepen my pleasure and joy in life again. And so it is, my friends. And so it is. All right, I'm going to go to bed. I will see you tomorrow night.